Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening. I will be acting as the temporary chairperson tonight, and I would like to call the reorganizational meeting of the Beacon Board of Education to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Ms. Corderoni, will you review the fire exits, please?
The fire exits are in the rear of the LGI.
Thank you. Now we're going to administer the oath of office to our new board members. Start with Ms. Betterbit. Right here. Yep. So please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I do hereby solemnly swear or affirm
I do hereby solemnly swear or affirm
that I will support
that I will support
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
of the State of New York
of the State of New York
as board member
as board member
of the Board of Education
of the Board of Education
of the City School District
of the City School District
of the City of Beacon,
of the City of Beacon,
County of Dutchess,
County of Dutchess,
and State of New York.
and State of New York.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next is Mr. Case Leal. If you would raise your right hand and repeat after me. I do hereby solemnly swear or affirm
I do hereby solemnly swear or affirm
that I will support
that I will support
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
of the State of New York
of the State of New York
as board member
as board member
of the Board of Education
of the Board of Education
of the City School District
of the City School District
of the City of Beacon,
of the City of Beacon,
County of Dutchess,
County of Dutchess,
and State of New York.
and State of New York.
Congratulations. Thank you very much. And Ms. Stadler. Can you raise your right hand, please? I do hereby solemnly swear or affirm
I do hereby solemnly swear or affirm
that I will support
that I will support
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
of the State of New York
of the State of New York
as board member
as board member
of the Board of Education
of the Board of Education
of the City School District
of the City School District
of the City of Beacon,
of the City of Beacon,
County of Dutchess,
County of Dutchess,
and State of New York.
and State of New York.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Up next is appointing clerk of the board. May I have a motion to appoint the clerk of the board for the school year?
I have a motion to appoint Kelly Collegy as the clerk of the board.
Second.
Are there any comments or questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. May I have a motion for nominations for the office of president?
I would like to make a motion to nominate Anthony White.
Is there a second?
I second it.
There's two Anthony's yet to clarify.
Anthony White.
Thanks.
Are there any other nominations? Hearing none, I have a motion, we will take a vote for appointing Anthony White as president of the Beacon Board of Education. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, I hereby declare Mr. White will serve as president of the Board of Education. with your oath of office.
I'm not used to this, Mr. Kelly.
I'm very formal. I do hereby solemnly swear or affirm
I do hereby solemnly swear or affirm
that I will support
that I will support
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
of the State of New York
of the State of New York
as President of the Board of Education
as the President of the Board of Education
of the City School District
of the City School District
of the City of Beacon,
of the City of Beacon,
County of Dutchess,
County of Dutchess,
and State of New York.
and State of New York.
Thank you. And congratulations.
Thank you. Am I up now?
Now you're,
All right.
2.06.
Yep. I need a motion to nominate the Vice President of the Board. I would like to nominate Meredith.
Second.
Any other nominations? Any comments or questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried 9-0. Congratulations, Meredith.
Please raise your right hand. I do hereby solemnly swear or affirm
I do hereby solemnly swear or affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
of the State of New York
of the State of New York
as Vice President
as Vice President
of the Board of Education
of the Board of Education
of the City School District
of the City School District
of the City of Beacon,
of the City of Beacon,
County of Dutchess,
County of Dutchess,
and State of New York.
and State of New York.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Here. Yep. Thank you.
Thank
very
you.
much.
Now I need to administer the oath to you, Kelly.
Yes, sir.
All right. Do you memorize it? All right. Please raise your right hand. I do hereby solemnly swear or affirm
I do hereby solemnly swear or affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
of the State of New York
of the State of New York
as the Clerk of the Board
as the Clerk of the Board
of the Board of Education
of the Board of Education
of the City School District
of the City School District
of the City of Beacon,
the City of Beacon,
County of Dutchess,
County of Dutchess,
and State of New York.
and State of New York.
Congratulations, Kelly. You want to do roll call, Kelly?
Ms. Vetterberg?
Here.
Mr. Case Leal?
Here.
Ms. Flynn? Here. Ms. Hewer? Here. Mr. Rakowski?
Here.
Ms. Stadler? Here. Mr. Sang?
Here.
Mr. Wolf?
Present.
Mr. White?
Here. All right, reviewing the agenda, I see that we have an item that we're going to be adding on, which is 7.16, which is to approve the agreement of Orthopedic Associates of Dutchess County.
Just the
To the minutes.
resolution language. Yeah,
Right, just the language?
just the language.
Just the language.
Just left that one.
I see no other items to review for the agenda. I need a motion to waive agenda item 5.01.
So moved.
Meredith, was there a second?
Second.
Mike? Comments or questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried, 9-0. All right, we need to appoint members of committees. So we have I need a motion to appoint members of committees. We need to make a motion, then we'll go through the committees, so we don't have to do it individually.
Make a motion to appoint members to committees.
Thank you,
Second.
Meredith. All right, any comments or questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried 9-0. All right, the first committee is the audit committee. Who would be interested in the audit committee? Mike?
I'll do it.
Here.
And Craig.
Craig? Am I the third seat, or is it someone else plus?
One in addition to you.
Anybody else interested in the audit committee?
And it meets
Yeah.
once, right?
They meet once or twice a year.
Yeah, once or twice, and we basically go over the biggest thing is to go over the report of the audit from the prior year. So they'll be building it this summer, going through it, and then in the fall, early in the fall, we'll go through it and talk about all the finances and meeting the state requirements. So, pretty interesting, actually.
I'd be willing to do it.
Kristen? All right. I need a representative for the district safety committee.
I can do that.
Meredith?
That meets during the day, right?
Mm-hmm. Did anybody else have interest in that?
Is it possible to attend? I know that that's sensitive information, but is it one of those, they meet quarterly?
They've been meeting more regularly since Matt has been here,
Okay.
especially when we had the security survey. So I know that they're planning on meeting at least once every 10 weeks, if not more,
Okay.
for it.
I'd be interested in it.
We have one member, so.
I can give it up also.
Okay, so you'd go during the day, it's typically 9 o'clock in the morning-ish, right, Anne Marie? About 9 o'clock in the morning.
How often does it meet?
About once every 10 weeks. Sometimes if there's things going on in society, they might meet a little sooner to
Yeah.
see about it. It's
There's like representatives from the city and emergency response representatives.
Sure.
James. We're gonna change that, Kelly, to James. Dutchess County School Boards Association representative.
The honorary Bills Off.
Honorary Bills
The new
Off
Bills
seat.
Off?
I would like to be the new Bills Off.
Does anybody else want to battle Meredith for that?
I will occasionally go with you.
Okay.
We meet every first
Yeah,
Thursday of the month.
Happy to drive someone.
Meredith would be the official representative. However, if other board members want to go, you're always willing to go. They could accommodate as many people as we want to send. But Meredith would be named as the Dutchess County School Board.
Craig, have you been?
Went to one. Yeah.
Just based on what you were describing for the PR committee, not to add you to it, but the one we went to was more lobbying focused, so it was interesting.
I feel like it will be a nice liaison to what you're talking about for the public relations committee.
I'm not sure about it.
I mean, not to pressure you to do it, but just that.
Yeah, I'm not sure about going to the county school boards thing, right? That you're talking about.
But Meredith's going to do it.
Meredith's going to
I
do it,
just
but
feel like
if you
you're saying
wanted to.
occasionally.
And also I think it will feed information for what you're trying to do.
There's a relationship there, yeah.
Kelly, do I need to go back? Do we need a chair for the audit committee, or is there no chair for that committee?
The committee usually meets and then elects a chair.
Okay, that's
Well,
right.
I don't know if there is, yeah, I think that's how. Is that how it is?
Yeah, I'm not sure the audit committee had, I don't remember
think we
having a
had
chair.
one.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't remember a chair for the audit, just
Yeah.
because it was once or twice a year.
Mm.
Right.
Okay. I need the policy committee. Would like to be part of the policy committee.
What's the meeting schedule?
Say it again.
The schedule for meeting?
Schedule, the chairperson will, and we'll discuss who could be chair tonight. I don't think we have to wait until the committee. But if the members want to agree on the chair tonight, we could do that. And then the chairperson, what I'm going to ask, once we get through all the committees, come up with a schedule for the year. With the policy committee, you have to meet more regularly, just because we're reviewing policies that may be in question that the public may come up with, but we're also revising the policy manual at the time.
Can I ask a question about that? Because we were just talking about this today. How is the agenda established? Like, is it something that the law firm feeds, or is it something that's identified that? Like, I was
It's
just wondering
typically
the flow.
identified through the district administration. If there's the law firm will let the district administrators know if there's a new policy that comes up through NISBA or Erie. The Erie one also has updates too. So they'll kind of let the district administrators know, and then they would, share it with Kelly, and Kelly would share it with the committee to say, hey, listen, we might want to review this, just because there are some policies that have legal ramifications with it. And if we always need the advice, we can have them come. I believe we had them come to 1 or 2 meetings on?
Yeah, so yeah, if I can elaborate, yeah, sometimes different policies require different levels of scrutiny. We actually paid NISBA to review all our policies. Just remember, if you remember,
Yeah.
Georgia was talking about upgrading to the E policy,
Mhm.
and there are quite a few policies that are still in the old book that we haven't revised yet. So we're, basically it's knocking them off. There's a crosswalk, useful crosswalk that NISBA has provided, but I only have up until 5,000 of what that crosswalk looks like, what the old number would be, what the new number would be. And, somebody could compile, which ones we've done already and check them off. That would actually could be a good to-do list of what needs to be done next.
We have that. So the NISBA we have the policies, we're trying to do it in some kind of order. So we've gone through most of the 6,000s. The biggest group that hasn't been touched is the 5,000s, which relate to students.
Mhm.
But we're at a point where we're just trying to plow through them and get them done and get them on e-policy. So we have a system going. Some of them require a little bit more effort, but if the policy committee starts in September, then we can kind of get through,
I mean,
to
this
kind
year
of
we
push
went
through some
from
more.
what, 0,000 to 4,000, and then we did the 6,000, we skipped 5,000, right?
Yeah, and then we touched upon a couple of 8,000 ones,
Right.
based on on the needs of the district at the time.
I feel like it would be helpful, just because it's such an important function of the board. I know that it needs to happen in committee, because it doesn't make sense to be hashing it out here. But it would be really helpful. I realized I had no real context of how that progressed. So just a sense of what we've updated, where it's going, and I think just having a little bit more communication on that front would be helpful, rather than it just coming through
Well,
the
that's something
committee.
that whoever the chair is, could
Yeah.
give a little bit more update as to, hey, this is what we've done in the past, kind of give a year, this is what we're looking to accomplish for the year, and
Okay.
then, where we hope to be at the end of the year and so forth.
That would be great.
Do they meet in the daytime or in the evening?
Evening typically.
I'll volunteer for this committee.
Anthony, you want to continue?
I actually need to think about it.
Anybody else?
I'm interested in the policy.
Because it would be nice to have some continuity of what
Right.
since we lost 2 board members. Do you know when you might be able to make that decision?
I'll commit to it.
Now, do one of the 3 want to be chair of the committee? Looking at you, Anthony. Not to put you on the spot.
If someone can take over the logistical role of setting up the meeting, see which time is best for everyone,
I can help you with that.
and then I can just go through all the different policies that we've done so far and try to come up with a to-do list.
So,
But
just to be
she's-
clear, I could help you with the dates of scheduling the meeting and the times,
Yeah,
but all else I would defer to you as the chair.
sure.
Well, yeah, also, not to are you, because one thing it's since we're moving through these committees, it's like we don't have, did a list come of all the existing committees? Are you sort of thinking I don't want to overcommit and sign up for,
Yeah,
that's what,
the
I do
diversity
feel like
committee,
this is what's
diversity
tricky.
committee takes up time,
Yeah.
so
Yeah, I think we're
that's
all
my concern.
thinking about that, and it'd be nice to.
I mean, the other thing is if that's, all right, we can have one of the new board members do that, and I can assist. I'm on every committee, and I try and attend every one. There are times where I'm not available to make every single meeting, just because if it's on a different day than Monday, it's hard because of my other commitments to my family and other things. But, I have no problem assisting and getting people caught up if Anthony's going to be on the committee. He's really good with the tracking piece and the computer and the crosswalk part, which that's not my forte, but knowing the language in the policies and so forth, I'm pretty familiar with, and we work together as a committee for that. So I didn't want to pressure you. I just wanted to, as a returning board member and being part of that, see if you had interest first, but if you don't, and I understand that, because we have other committees and we do get spread thin, I'm willing to have, and I think it would be a great experience, and we could walk that up, you know, we could tailor it to it. So if James or Lisa wanted to be a chair, I'm hearing that Anthony's not fully vested in it, so.
I don't know what that would entail.
Yeah, you
so
haven't
it's
done
difficult
your-
to commit to it.
I haven't done our training, that's what.
So we don't have to decide today,
Right,
we can have a
because
first
meeting
meeting,
at-
I'll set up the first meeting as the president of the board, and then I'm involved, I'll set up the first meeting, then we can have that discussion and go into a little bit more depth and detail as to what it is.
Okay.
Yeah, and I kind of feel like we all sort of, especially if it's moving into student policies, it would be, you know, interesting and important for our
For us to be a
involvement
little
and
bit more aware.
input before it just comes before us for a reading, so.
I agree.
Yeah, I think that's a really important meeting, committee, we shouldn't, like,
Oh, yeah, I mean, it is very important. I mean, it's the rules of the school district.
yeah, like, of everything, so.
So,
All right, so diversity committee. Anthony raised his hand. Anybody else?
I'm interested.
Laura? One more.
I can continue.
Mary. Public relations, and we might rename it.
Yeah, I'm certainly up for that. I think that we could broaden the scope of it, not only retain public relations, I think there are some aspects that we could continue to work on there, but to expand the scope to advocacy. We've done a few things along that line, but we have no committee that covers it. And legislative, to some extent, we've depended upon what we hear from the School Boards Association or the county unit, but it's a bigger, broader world than that, and I think that there's a need to take a more comprehensive look at the legislation that affects us. It seems to be almost nonstop and very hard to keep track of. I started doing some of that this summer, and it seems like everybody is going to be impacted by proposals. Even the fact that a proposal is launched but not adopted creates a ferment in Albany or Washington, and some of that becomes legislation or policies of the commissioner, and it will affect us. And it's good to have a heads up and to try to look ahead to what's coming down the pike.
I think that's where Meredith, as the DC school board rep, will help, because they discuss a lot of that at the county level.
How often are you envisioning that committee meeting?
It'll be similar to the other committees that we've had. I don't know, I'd like to talk to whoever else is going to join it, but probably monthly or something like that.
Does this committee do like community, is it about community outreach also? And
Yeah.
I'd like to volunteer for this one.
I'm interested in it. The one thing that I was wondering from just an organizational standpoint is like physically being places to, like, how much can we do over email, especially since a lot of it is research-based.
But it sounds like maybe one of the things that the committee will do is to kind of distill the information that's coming, because we do get a lot,
Yeah, I'm
so
trying to keep
many
up to date
emails
as
every
possible.
day, and so, yeah, maybe it would be a way to kind of condense that information and let things rise to the top that really affect our district.
And for example, the New York State School Boards Association took dozens of legislative positions in the last round. And I looked over that whole list and thought, there's a few that particularly affect us or that are more important than others that we would probably want to talk about, maybe take a position on.
So anybody else? We need one more person. Was I hearing you, Kristen?
Yeah, I'm also very interested. I'm just trying not to commit to another.
I know, I'm just looking at all that, I'm keeping track here with Mike, I'm like, because I'm.
You can put me on it, and we can.
Yeah.
Will
unless you want it.
we'll be meeting in the evenings, Craig?
I think so, yeah.
Craig, you want to be chair?
Yes.
What's up?
Does anybody have any problem with Craig being chair?
No, great.
I'm sorry, going back to the diversity committee. Anthony, you want to be chair?
Sure.
Does for Meredith have any issues with making being chair?
I don't, but can you tell me when that usually means?
It's usually.
Last year, we met monthly, and we took the summer off. You know, depending on what we're going to talk about, we can change that schedule.
And we were meeting kind of Thursday nights, but I was actually wondering, thought maybe we should talk about making all committee meetings Monday, you know, the other Monday night, and it's sort of informally the way the city council.
Let's get through this first before we start
Okay.
that conversation. Sorry.
That's good.
I also need a motion to change the name from just Public Relations Committee to, I was hearing you say Public Relations, Legislation, and Advocacy.
How about public relations, advocacy, and legislative? It's a
Whatever,
better acronym.
whatever you like there. You're the journalist. So,
So
Craig,
I'll
make that
move that,
motion.
we change the name of the committee to public relations, advocacy, and legislative.
Is there a second?
Second. Oh, sorry.
Anthony, comments or questions?
So would this just be a better representation of what you're looking to do? Is that really your intention for changing the name?
Correct.
It shows a broadening of the scope. The old committee just was called Public Relations, and I think that was dating back to a time when we saw that there was a much stronger need for that aspect. And while it's not totally problem solved, or I wouldn't say that we have nothing left to do, these other activities, I think, can come to the fore now that we've made some advancements in that area of public relations.
I
I think a lot of that is because of Dr. Landau doing the job that he's done, you know. That certainly is a big part of the progress.
And the reason why I think it's important to add those in the name is so we're transparent with the community that we're not just going to be talking public relations, it's also going to be advocacy and legislation as well.
Good, all right, good, thank you.
Any other comments or discussion items? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried 9-0. So Kelly, you got that piece? All right. Facilities and Operations Committee?
Good.
Craig?
Yeah.
Mike? Mike, you're not making
Oh,
eye
no,
contact?
Mike, yes. Shields it.
Mike, yeah.
All right.
I wasn't sure if you were pointing or if you were.
I will.
I'll do it.
Bring it.
Kristen? Mike, you were chair last. Committee members feel?
I think they're good.
Mike, okay, chair?
Fine with it.
Craig, you okay with
Yeah.
making chair?
If I was staying chair,
Staying chair, Mike.
staying chair.
We need a representative for the curriculum committee. That does meet during the day, typically what, every other month or monthly?
Monthly, about 2:30 to 3:30.
2:30 to 3:30 monthly.
I would like to continue that if.
Anybody want to battle Meredith for that? All right, seeing none, Meredith, you got it. Wellness committee, we need a representative for the wellness committee.
I mean, floor review, I was gonna continue to do it, but.
I am interested, but I mean, I'm fine not doing it also.
Well, you haven't, you're not up on anything, oh, you're on
She is.
diversity.
Diversity.
So, I mean, I like wellness a lot, but I also feel like, I thought you had the technology.
Well, I did, well, because I thought you'd be a perfect fit there, but.
I was just like, it's interesting, I didn't remember signing for it, but,
The main reason I'm interested is because I've been meeting with Karen Pagano separately for nutrition subcommittee meetings, and I feel like I'd like to sort of bring it back all together if
Okay.
possible.
that sounds good then, you can,
Okay.
I'll probably still attend, is that okay? Or should we not have more than one board member?
I don't think we should have more than one. But you could be the alternate if Laura can't make it. You guys could tag team.
Or I could be the alternate.
No, I mean, I'm committed to the thing, so I'll just, I often had to leave, it often falls on Thursdays and I have to leave for my daughter's ballet class, so it would be better if somebody could stay.
Okay.
Well, it's a little sad, but that's okay.
And we need a representative for the technology committee. It's a district committee. They meet, what did they meet last time, Anthony?
Well, they met it till we needed a new director, so.
He's here today, it's his first day.
I'll be
Technology?
That was right.
unless, did you want to keep doing it?
You can do that.
Okay.
That was, yeah, Kristen?
That was right.
Yeah. I didn't expect that. You literally planted that seed.
Subliminal. So
So we all have 2, except Kristen has 3,
Yeah, well, because of
and
audit.
Meredith has 12.
Yeah.
Meredith actually has 5.
I do not.
Yeah, you
do,
do, you're
you
on 5
do.
committees.
What?
I'm watching it here,
Well,
like telling
well,
you.
let me go. Audit, if I'm right.
No.
No.
No,
I didn't
no,
say
no.
it's audit.
It's Mike, Craig, and
Right.
Kristen.
Craig, okay.
And I did that only because it meets
See, it was good.
periodically. Like,
Yeah.
District Safeties, James.
Okay.
Dutchess County School Boards Association, Meredith.
Yeah.
Policy, we have James, Anthony, and Alicia. Alyssa, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Anthony for the diversity, and he'll be chairing. Flora, Meredith. Public Relations, Advocacy, and Legislative. We have Craig chairing. I only have 2 here.
Yeah, we have Alyssa and Meredith, Craig, Alyssa, and Meredith.
Craig. There we go, and Meredith. And then we have, for F&O, we have Craig, Mike, and Kristen. Mike chairing. Meredith, Curriculum. Flora, Wellness, Technology, Kristen.
I can give up one of my committees if somebody wants to remind me.
I'd be interested in diversity.
It's all yours. Thank you.
No, you're not gonna stay away from that.
I know. But then I can't talk, right?
Actually, the way you run the diversity committee, I mean,
Please,
know,
Anthony,
that's
don't
true.
promote it.
I will still try to come to that, definitely, it's important to me.
All
I
right.
run it very differently than Mike's committee.
So, Meredith, you started a conversation prior to about when scheduling the committee meetings.
Yeah, I mean, we're kind of all over the place, and I'm totally just open to feedback on it, but I was thinking, what if you knew that there were committee meetings every other Monday night, and that's a night you've probably had to clear for any sort of major commitment because of the regular board meetings. And we were trying to do several committee meetings in a night so that people who are on multiple committee meetings weren't out multiple nights. So I feel like that would sort of further fine tune it if
I think it's a good idea.
I personally would love it, being
Yeah, it's hard to,
going to-
it's, I mean, sorry.
Well, I think last year we kind of stuck with Monday, Wednesday, because I know for me, it gives me flexibility if I'm traveling or when I can, with my schedule, so.
Well, and of course, that's, I would say that maybe it was like, let's lean toward Monday nights, and then if Monday night doesn't work, obviously,
Yeah,
it can
and I think
change.
facilities is actually kind of a different animal though too. Like I think that's like a bigger.
Well, with the capital project and planning for
Yeah.
another capital project.
Yeah.
I understand if they all can't be on Monday. I'm fine. I like to try and organize them so they're on Monday, so we know Monday's like school district business.
Yeah.
And then if it can't work, having an alternative day, like a Wednesday or a Thursday or a Tuesday, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd rather it be the norm. And that, I'm just speaking from like somebody who's
The
shuffling kids.
con
around.
to that though, which was talked about in the past, was
It's the city council.
right.
Yeah, and I have been the person in the past to ask if we should change the nights of our meetings so that, people can attend both. I think there are a lot of other city meetings going on different nights too. The planning board meetings are on Tuesday nights, and so I feel like I'm thinking selfishly of.
I mean, I will say that at the diversity committee, I believe I've maximized participation by just not having it on a Monday either.
That's true for public
Yes.
participation.
And-
That's a good point.
And it has a very strong public component in the committee.
Well, and so maybe maybe it is, we could decide like which committees try to meet Monday nights and then which, very purposefully do not. I think that's okay. I by no means want to make it like our policy that committees meet on Monday nights. I'm just saying that I wouldn't take a night class on Monday nights because I was at board meetings or, things like that. So it is generally, and for me, my travel schedule, Monday night is usually fine, so.
I mean, we did bring up public participation in committees before. Is our goal to make it easier for us make it easier for the public to attend.
That's a very good point, also. I mean, I'm saying what is more convenient for, I think, board members.
But I think when you're looking at the committees, and I understand the perspective that you're giving, it's to conduct business of the district, right? So it kind of has to be convenient to the members of the committee so they can conduct business of the district to help run business. Because it is going to ultimately report back to the board for that piece.
It's a struggle. I'm not going to say it's not a struggle, and maybe,
No, I agree.
maybe you and I will disagree, but I mean, one of the complaints I got from sitting in the policy committee is that, you know, that they can't provide input. So, I mean, that's just one example. No, it's not a negative. It's not meant to be a negative connotation to anybody who served in the policy chair, and I understand your point about doing the business district's business. But I think there's a lot of people that want to be included in the district's business.
I understand.
So what is your proposal? What are you trying to say is better?
I think public participation is better.
No, of course it is. I'm just saying as far as the timing. How does that translate into what the best time that you're recommending?
I mean, I like the Wednesdays, I like the Thursdays for public participation. I think Mondays will always conflict with the city, and until we move our board meeting, we're always going to hear that complaint.
So wellness, technology, curriculum,
Yeah, there's a difference between the district
And
meetings
safety.
and the board.
I feel like if
The
we.
district committees and board committees, yeah.
Right, so I think if we broke it down to, here are the things that happened during the school day that were signed up for, we move those over to the side, then we can also look at the committees where it makes more sense to increase public participation, and that would be policy. We've only had people come to facilities and operations when it was related to turf, right?
The
That
capital
was
project, right?
Capital project. I
Well,
think
and
those
that- I'm
people will
sorry.
come anyway. So then I think if we, like, policy maybe should be on a Monday night, or if that works, like, maybe there's certain things that we can sort of see if they generate interest. We keep, like, diversity, like you said, we want to increase public participation. There seemed to be an interest on the part of the public to be there too, so maybe we do leave that more flexible, but maybe some of these other ones we stack on Monday.
I'm fine with whatever, I just would like not that it's left out there that it's gonna be a day, like a different day, like saying it's gonna be a Thursday or saying it's going to be a Wednesday. Is it gonna be the third Thursday? If it's gonna be on a Thursday, is it gonna be the second Thursday, or is it gonna be the?
Yeah, I tried to do that with diversity. I try to make it the second Thursday of the month.
So as long as it's like clear as to when it's meeting and we can come up with that year-long calendar, like I wouldn't want it to have, I think the hard part is when we have a committee meeting on a Monday, then a Wednesday, and then a Thursday. So if we could stick to 2 days of the week, I'm fine with whatever, but when you have it on a Monday, then on one Monday, and then you have another one on Wednesday, and then there's a third day, a Thursday, I can tell you it's hard. It's hard for me to attend every
Yeah,
3 days a week.
You're the de facto member of all committees.
Right, but so if it's 2 days a week, that's something I could plan for, and so if I'm just looking for that alternative day piece. As to, and I don't have it could be Tuesday, Friday, whatever. Probably not Friday, but
Yeah, I do think for
You think they're
consistency, it
alone?
helps to have.
not Friday.
I think for participation too, it also helps to have some consistency, like put a stake in the ground, and then people will be able to anchor around that.
Should be, is it something the committees should meet and then propose our schedule? Because that's what I'm gonna do the next time, is here's our schedule for the year.
Mhm. The hard part is that the committees could meet, they could get their days, and it might be 3 committees on that one night, then it's not gonna, like, some will have to change, so if
Right.
we
So
could
if you're-
kinda get like a general framework as to like what Kristen started the conversation,
Yeah.
policy being Monday night, right, so we could fit another
And Craig, I feel like,
policy meeting.
do you think since the public relations, what was the middle one? Advocacy and legislative would have baked into its purpose kind of communicating outward and being more transparent, that it's something that would, because that it wouldn't necessarily be something that people are coming and contributing to, but it's rather something that's kind of designed to broadcast out what we're learning and what we're prioritizing. So it wouldn't necessarily be as much about bringing people into the meetings.
Probably is a good case for each of these committees having a component of public access. They are open under the open meetings law, and they are usually regularly noticed in our various facilities, including the electric signboard. So we try to let the public know that we're meeting. We might want to discuss what exactly is the protocols for the public participation. This seems to vary quite a bit from one committee to another. It's not really standardized from what I can see.
Yeah.
Things that I've visited. So I don't know, I think that's something that we probably should discuss when we first meet, is that aspect.
So you wouldn't prefer it on a Monday night? Like that's kind of which, I think like with diversity, there seemed to be a portion of the community that was very interested in that. And I think people would also be equally interested in safety, but they're not allowed at those meetings. So I'm just trying to think for organizational purposes, like, you know, policy or...
I mean, I think the board committees are the ones that we control the schedule. The district committees are the ones that we don't control.
Right,
the
so it's
schedule.
just the four:
It's
policy,
just the four.
diversity, public relations, and facilities management.
Craig, would you be fine with having it on Monday nights after policy or before policy?
I'm not sure at this point. Some interesting points raised here, including what other kind of meetings might people want to go to. We've discussed this in the past about city council meetings. If you had meetings of committees and this board on Monday nights, you'd never go to a council meeting.
So that's a no.
That's probably a no.
Okay, just asking. So you're thinking, what day of the week would you want your meeting? That
I kind of like the idea of trying to focus on 2 days, like Monday and Wednesday seems to be the preferred, but I don't know that we need a hard and fast rule.
Well, I'm just trying, so when the other committees meet, they have an idea of who else would be meeting on that day.
Right, so you could do back-to-back meetings.
I
Yeah,
think
that
you
works
could do
pretty
two
well.
meetings.
I would
People
prefer
could sit in.
third Wednesday seemed to work pretty good last year for facilities, and that was 7 to 8:15, and maybe try to start earlier. I'm not sure. Coming up with the committee.
So you're looking to follow like that, like go before, after?
I think that works because if people are on more than one committee, then obviously it's just one night. But a lot of times people who are on the board who are not on a committee will sit in on one of the other meetings, which can be valuable because you get an earful of the concerns of that committee, a little bit of a heads up, and may be able to contribute at the end of the meeting, although our practice seems to be that if you're a member of the committee, you've got preference, and other board members who are not members of the committee get invited to speak at the end or when there's some appropriate need for their input.
So
yeah, I kind of wait to the end to say anything of the facilities committee.
What?
What's that?
Yeah, that's a week to the
You've
end.
come to the facilities committee,
Yeah.
and you look like you enjoyed it.
Yeah,
You participated.
yeah. I mean,
So Craig, am I hearing Wednesday would be a day that you could look at?
Probably, yeah.
We're still talking about public relations for Wednesday?
Wednesday, yeah, that's what Craig was saying, and then the F&O will be Wednesday as well. They're gonna try and piggyback those dates, those two committees. So then the diversity, if you're looking at a different day than Monday, Anthony,
yeah.
I would say what day, because then because there's no chair, I will say that we were before the chair is, that we'll meet that same day. So it's 2 days instead of 3 days.
Oh, Wednesdays.
Because Monday, I'm hearing, is no good for you for diversity. So what day are you looking at for diversity?
So, I mean, I was hoping to go back to the second Thursday of the month. It's when I got the most people.
And that's when the policy would be too.
Second Thursday.
Second Thursday.
What time does that usually start?
Well, policy would be 7 and diversity would be 8:15. Usually we try to keep policy committees to an hour, which makes it challenging with public participation.
All committee meetings to an hour.
Yeah. That's what we try to do.
Try to.
It's a goal.
A lofty goal.
It is a lofty goal.
I do have a question on the schedule. I mean, I'm looking at the school calendar for 2017, 2018, and I also noticed that this board meeting was at 6 o'clock. Are we now changed from 7 to 6?
So it was interesting because I didn't catch it until just before the meeting, and then I forgot to bring it up during the meeting that the Board of Ed meetings that we adopted said 6 o'clock on there and not 7. So if that's something that we would like to discuss, we can, but I just like to get through this and then we can add that item to the agenda
Sure.
to talk about
Yeah.
later on. Just don't let me forget about it.
Okay.
All right, I need a motion to approve organizational items 7.02 through 7.16.
So
Oh,
moved.
should I read my thing, Mike, where you push? Hold up. Is this really considered consent agenda? Not really. All right, so I need a motion to approve organizational items 7.02 through 7.16.
Can we pull 7:05?
Hold up, just say it during discussion. Let's get the motion second, and then
So moved.
Meredith. Is there a second?
Second.
Kristen, comments or questions? Comments or questions?
Yeah, so can we pull 7:05?
We can.
Do we pull it, or the way you just did that, do we discuss it now? How do you want to do that?
Let's just make is there anybody else that's gonna wanna pull? I'm just trying to think of it for 7.05. Mike?
I'm looking.
7.15.
7.15. Is there any other items? All right, so I'm going to amend the original motion to approve agenda items 7.02 through 7.16 and make a motion to approve agenda items 7.02 through 7.16 minus 7.05 and minus 7.15.
So moved.
So moved. Second.
Kristen and then Meredith. Comments or questions about how I did that? So we're voting on, the amended motion was to vote on 7.02 through 7.16 minus 7.05 and 7.15. Any comments or questions about that? I need a motion to approve the amended motion.
So moved.
No,
We already did.
I need to vote, we need to vote.
Yeah.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Now I need to,
I make a motion to approve 7.05.
no,
Oh, to amend 7.05.
we voted on amended the motion, now we need to vote on the regular motion at hand. So I need a motion to approve the amended 7.02 through 7.15, which does not include 7.05 and 7.15.
So moved.
That's
Second.
Kristen and Meredith second. Comments or questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried 9-0. So that motion, Kelly, was to approve 7.02 through 7.16 minus 7.05 and 7.15.
And what was the middle motion?
The middle motion was to approve the amended motion.
Just approve the amendment of the motion?
Right. I know it got a little tricky.
I don't like
It got a
that.
little
I did it
tricky
that
there.
way.
I didn't know any other way to.
It smells like a consent agenda, it talks like a consent agenda.
Oh, so is that
Just
why?
you can't read it like a
You're
consent
saying it's not a
agenda.
consent agenda?
Not a consent.
Is that why you did it this way?
Yeah, because you couldn't just pull it because it's not. That's what I asked, and Emery said it's not
Oh, okay.
consent. So we
We
needed a
could
motion
have done them one at a
to.
time.
Could.
Oh, no.
I just didn't know how many people were gonna pull. All right, so now I need a motion to approve 7.05.
Well, we could like to amend 7.05 before we vote on it. So I'd like to make a motion
7.05.
to amend 7.05
Yeah,
to include.
But we need to make the motion to approve it before we can amend it.
we can consider it, we come up in discussion.
And
Whatever,
discussion.
however you want to do it.
We have to, because we have to see if we want to talk about it in the first place.
All right, however you want to do it. Motion to approve 705.
Is there a second?
Second.
Mike, comments or questions about 7.05?
I'd like to add the Highlands Current to the official district newspaper.
Would you like to make an amendment to 7.05?
I'd like to make a motion to make an amendment to 705 to add the Highlands Current to the official district newspapers.
Second.
Is there Mike seconded? Any other comments or questions about the amendment to add the Highland Current to
Well, I think the thing is, the question is that are we, Highlands Current's a very, prominent paper in our area as well, right? So that's why I think it should be added in there.
And
And
Craig has pointed out that they have sent somebody to cover meetings, which is important, I think, too.
They're also a nonprofit paper, and they also have an online presence, so that if you don't get a distribution, you don't get a hard copy paper, you can always access it online. And so the online distribution may not be known, but when I talk to people, a lot of them refer to Highlands Current.
They had not to promote that, they had a campaign this year for people to get mailed copies as well, which helped the distribution. So I know it doesn't go out to Wappingers, right? It doesn't go to Wappingers or Fishkill.
But those residents could go online and look at.
But the Beacon Free Press, does it go to Wappingers and Fishkill too?
Nope.
No, the Beacon Free Press is distributed throughout the Beacon School District.
Okay.
When Herman Austin set that chain of papers up, he did it according to school district lines. The Southern Dutchess News is coterminous with the Wappinger Central School District, and Beacon Free Press with ours. Is their circulation perfect in all parts of that zone? It depends upon how good the person is who's doing the delivery. If you don't get it, call up and complain, but that's their intention, so.
The amendment was to just add them, not to remove
Not to
one,
remove,
correct?
yeah.
So
Just
what was
add the Highland Current.
what's the financial impact of adding them?
It's hard to say. I quoted what the Highland Current had given me for a quarter or an eighth of a page. But the legal notices, so it will be all the legal notices for the capital project and the vote, which in the Poughkeepsie Journal run the full line down in the Poughkeepsie Journal. So it's going to be at least a couple $100 every time we put it in the newspaper. So
A couple hundred more than if we did not have them
It would be
added to the list.
right, it would be each time because we'd have to add it. Highland Current has a different way of doing it, but I mean we pay the Poughkeepsie Journal and we pay Beacon Free Press to do that as well. So we just wanted to make sure that just financially legal, and it's only for legal notices, so those that we are required. So it's in the legal section.
So we're saying the district is now going to be required to do the legal notices in 3 papers instead of 2, which increased the cost.
Right, that's what the amendment is saying.
That's what the amendment's saying.
I don't know if all the papers charge the same though, right, Anne Marie?
I don't believe they do, no.
So I believe you sent a quote of how much the Highland Current charges, right?
Right, but that's based on a page. It depends on exactly what each legal notice is a little bit different.
So how much was that?
I wouldn't know off the top of my head. We have to actually run it first to see. So I was just giving examples. I was giving examples that we have to do legal notices. We'll have to do several for the capital project as it's coming out, and we have to do it for the vote. Bond resolutions have to go as legal notices. So there's and the bids if we go out for bid. Those are things that are in the legal notice section.
Tax collection.
Tax
Anthony,
collection.
do you feel like, I think the coverage of school business has been really good from the Highlands Current. Do you think that it's increasing the notice? Is this because you think that it's important to increase the visibility of our legal notices, or is it because you feel like that paper is more of a go-to paper for school information for people?
Well, the cost, from what I understood is that it was $44 for 1/6 of a page, $22. I'm sorry, $44 for 1/8 of a page, $22 for 1/16 of a page. It didn't seem like it was going to break anyone's budget to add the paper for someone to not have to search the other papers in order to find out what the school district is doing, including the legal notices. If we put something out, I think the public should be fully versed as, if they're interested to know, what we're putting out for contract, for bids.
Yeah, I mean, I tend to agree with Anthony that it is, we're required 2 papers, right? But the Highlands Current has become a big source of information in our area, so it's kind of, if we're trying to, as a form of community outreach, as a form of transparency, I feel like if this paper is, sort of a big place that people go for information in our area, then we should probably be posting there. It's not that much money.
Well, I mean, if the board adopts that, I could quantify it.
Yeah.
And then, I would know, for a whole year, and then you can decide next year whether.
I don't know.
But that's what I was thinking. If we only needed 2, we're not totally sure what the costs are, the impact. Maybe we could, but for now, stick with the 2, because it sounds like it'll be more than maybe we anticipated. And then figure out over the year how much it would be, and then make a decision next year about the document. And sticking with 2, because we still have a fiscal responsibility to make,
right, and I
even
think,
though it's a few $100s, but it's still a few $100s.
I totally agree with you, and I think in the past we've asked, like, well, how much would it cost? We're not able to really. I mean, I guess we could not adopt it, but we could ask you each time you're doing a legal notice to get an estimate from the Highlands Current this year, so that we could have that information. Is that?
I mean, I will say this is, the 3 of us are starting our 3rd year, and this is the 3rd time it's come up. So I think maybe we should just do it. And if it comes out something that we're not going to agree with next year, then that's what we'll do.
Yeah. I'm just concerned about, there's a lot of other things that cost money, especially with some of the things coming up. And not knowing, if we have all, not knowing exactly how much that's going to be, I think we should hold off for a year to get a better quantification of it.
Perhaps we could ask Mrs. Corderoni if she has a ballpark idea of what we spent last year in the first full year or so for all combined legal notices?
I wouldn't have any idea. So, because some of it we record in the capital fund if it relates to the capital project,
Right.
and some of the general fund. I mean, I could run the numbers and provide it with the board, I just don't know off the top of my head how much it is.
Well, I don't think it's a real big item in any event. It's probably bigger in the journal than any place
Right.
else, and the Current is probably the cheapest of the 3 from what I've seen of ad rates.
I mean, unfortunately, it would be hard to measure, in terms of outreach, because that after a year, we could then maybe go back to 2 papers, choosing the Beacon Press or the Current, unless the basic idea is that we just want as much exposure to these legal notices as possible. That's
Well,
why I
legal
asked.
notices aren't intended to be compelling, exciting reading anyway,
Right.
I mean, the
Well,
point
that's
is
why I was
to
asking Anthony what the
comply with your legal
purpose.
requirements. And
I agree.
some people actually do read them, and probably more people should, because if you've got the ability to prevent your eyes from glazing over on something long, at least you know there's something that's happening.
If it was a fact that that Highlands Current was reaching the full district, I would actually consider, make a motion to maybe consider them over the Beacon Free Press. But since it doesn't reach the district, it's just an incremental.
Well, I mean, and that's a good point. What I do feel though, that the people that are reading the Highlands Current are not reading the Free Press. The people that may be reading the Free Press may not be reading the Highlands Current. So there is a lack of overlap. I mean, so you can reverse that argument in the opposite direction. That
No, I can make that statement though, and know that unless you did a survey to see that, because
No,
there are
I
plenty
get-
of people that read both.
Well,
I mean, to say that
you're right.
one person doesn't read, I mean, that's a very subjective statement to say that the person reading the Highland Current isn't reading the Beacon Free Press unless we did a survey and kind of got that data. To just throw that out there, I don't agree with that
Well,
statement.
we can ask among ourselves whether we read both.
I'll say that the Highlands Current is, they come up in my Facebook feed every day. And the Beacon Free Press, I don't read unless I'm in Key Food and pick up a copy of it.
Yeah,
Actually,
I'm
Because I don't live in
read
Beacon,
the
I live in
press.
Fishkill, so I don't see the Beacon Free Press unless I'm in town.
And I can say that every Saturday when I go to
Mr. V's.
Mr. V's, I read both of them.
Right.
So,
I pretty much have followed the same pattern as Melissa. read Highlands Current online or in person.
I wasn't saying I
I get the
disagree
key- I
with the
get
Highland
Beacon
Current,
Free
I was
Press
just
delivered
saying
to my house.
about the statement piece.
Yeah, I
It's
don't-
to say, you know,
Yes,
so to speak.
and there's probably a third and fourth category.
I was saying never read the Poughkeepsie Journal. Sorry, I know you work there, Craig. I'm sorry. I read Nina. That's it.
But among ourselves, I mean, you know, we don't read both.
Right. So the motion.
Can I say
on-
one other thing?
Sure.
During the election, the Highlands Current was very communicative with us about our positions and all of that. I felt like they were a lot more communicative than the Beacon Free Press. I think their coverage was better.
Right, but the legal notice isn't coverage, it's kind
No,
of.
I understand.
No,
Well,
but
I-
the people who are looking for news about the district, I mean, it's sort of all part of the package.
Yeah.
I'd like to make a motion to amend the amended motion, which I think we can, right?
You could do it twice, so yes.
To remove the Beacon Free Press from the list of papers.
Second.
Hold up, I'm just writing this down, so Kelly and I can compare notes later to make sure the minutes are right. Amend motion to remove Beacon Free Press. That was Mike, Meredith, you seconded. Comments or questions?
I don't support the amendment to the amendment. I think we should definitely keep the Free Press in there. They are a free distribution newspaper. And that's an important factor.
Oh,
And
that's
they
correct.
have a distribution plan which might not reach Mrs. Betterbitt's house, but that should be remedied by a call to the office to say, how come, why not, you know? If you live in the district, then.
I agree with you, I wouldn't want to remove
So,
it either.
so we can vote on that piece and then.
I just want to say, I don't like the amendment.
Okay, so we're voting on removing the amendment to the amendment of removing the Beacon Free Press from 7.05. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
Aye.
Nay.
That's
Nay.
Mike Dugan, aye.
Nay.
That was 1-8, Kelly.
Just to be clear.
So now we need to go back to the original amendment, which was to add the current to the list of district newspapers.
And are we allowed to discuss this now? Or?
Yeah, still open.
So I think that really, if the vote really comes down to if you want to spend, if you think that it justifies a couple of $100 possibly, or you know, a few $100s, we don't know. Is that what you're sort of saying, or?
I say that we could say, I don't want to say it's a couple hundred because you don't know how many legal notices you're going to put out a year.
Well, would it be possible to, Anne Marie, put together, based on last year, how much it would have cost if we had the Highlands Current? Not vote on this tonight, but to actually get a real estimate based on last year. You know, I'm sure we could look at how many legal notices we put out. You could give that information to the Highlands Current, they could tell you how much it would have been. And then
I'd send them what the legal notice looked like, so that
Right,
it cost
and then we could actually, because I feel like
Because it has come up 3 years in a row.
And
Yeah,
and this does come
we
up every
always
year.
break on this exact thing, like, well, we
Yeah.
just don't know.
Right,
And
and
it's
the
like, well, we
fiscal
have 2 years worth of
responsible-
data, we could know.
Right, the fiscally responsible thing to do, I think, would be to know how much it actually.
So the one thing we can do is that we could vote on the district newspapers tonight, but we could also look to add a newspaper later on.
That
Right.
sounds like very vaguely familiar.
No one else
Why don't
brought
we
it up
do-
during the year, and I don't know if it was followed
Let's
up
get
on.
this information, and I mean,
Time for the next meeting.
Anne Marie, when do you think you could have this information for?
I can get it to them, I don't know when they'll get it back, so
Right.
I would say, probably no later than the first meeting in August, because I don't know what their schedule is like.
Okay.
All right, so now we're voting on the amended motion to add the Highland Current to the list of official district newspapers. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Wait.
Opposed? Aye.
Aye.
Wait, so we're.
This is we're voting
The amendment.
to add them without, so basically you vote now to add them without the information about how much it would cost,
Oh,
or how much it might possibly cost.
You're saying
So-
the amendment was for Anthony to add the Highland Current to the official district newspaper, which means it's in addition to the Poughkeepsie Journal, Beacon Free Press.
Right.
And if you vote yay, you're saying that you're okay with adding them at this point, that you don't need the
Yeah,
Emery
we
to
can-
follow up with.
Financial impact.
No, that's not true, because Emery can still follow up, and we can always.
She could follow up,
Wait,
but
wait,
it's
wait.
gonna be approved by the board to have them as a district newspaper anyway.
So
Yeah.
meaning if we vote yay,
We can't remove
then
them.
whenever we have a legal notice, we are obligated to put it in.
Unless we change that designation.
Unless we change it later on.
Yeah, so I mean, I would support voting in favor of the
All right,
motion.
so
And then if the cost comes up back, like, for example, 6 figures or whatever, then yeah, of course we're gonna.
But we're not debating it, you could vote, you're gonna show with your vote, so all those in favor of the amended
Can I ask a question?
motion, sure.
So we have an amount budgeted for the Beacon Free Press, right? We have some idea of what that would cost that we budgeted for,
Mhm.
and we know that this will be less.
We don't.
We don't.
believe that the Highland
We
Courier
don't,
is
'cause
cheaper.
they gave me a price based upon an article, but the legal notices are different sizes and different, because they're wording, so I don't have any idea.
And we
They-
have a quote for the Poughkeepsie Journal also.
Mhm.
That's different, right?
Mhm.
So if we were to average those, and we assume that, let's say ballpark, that's Highland Current, do we have enough money for that to be fiscally responsible for us to?
Well, the Poughkeepsie Journal is kind of different because we have to do the Poughkeepsie Journal.
Is
Well, I'm
it-
just thinking for like ballpark budgeting.
It's about being fiscal, about having, a fiduciary trustee role, like that. It's irresponsible to do it for something that you feel isn't cost effective. But right now, we're weighing two things. We're weighing what will reach the most people versus spending, whether it's worth spending the extra money to do that. And it is, Anthony is right, we have discussed this, we've had this almost exact same conversation, this is the third year we've had it.
So that's what I'm
So,
saying.
yeah.
Do they give us a special rate because we're a school district?
I
Or
think
do
that
we
was
pay?
part with the discount, and I'm sorry that you guys didn't get the email today because you guys didn't have your
Right.
emails access. But they were discounted rates based upon us being a school district, so yes.
Okay, so I'm looking at the Highlands Current media kit right now. This is my job every day at work, so, so you said you usually run a 6th page, is that what you said?
No, when I asked them last year for the
Mhm.
rates, they gave me a 6th and an 8th, and then gave me some examples.
I mean,
They also,
an 8th page black and white without a discount is $55.
And they quoted you 44, right?
yes.
So. that's-
But without sending the Highland Current what it is we do, that would be hard. So I can send them an example and ask them to cost it out.
Yeah,
because-
that's almost like a 20%.
I mean, it's pretty standard. I mean, if you know how big your ad needs to be.
I understand that, but I don't know. So each legal notice is a little different in size.
Okay.
So that's
The
the
one
only
for the
reason. It's
vote
not,
is
they're
very
not all.
lengthy, and it has to be 4 times.
Four
Just
times
for
each one,
an example,
right?
that one runs about, I think, like $400 or $600 in the Poughkeepsie
In
Journal.
the Poughkeepsie Journal.
Right, which is gonna be a lot more than.
So if you need to run it 4 times, each time is gonna be a little bit less. The more often you run the ad, it'll be a little bit less, right? If you need to run it 4 times, it's gonna cost less per ad than running it once.
Yeah.
So looking at this, a full page, which we would never do, right, is $441. So I mean, we could get an idea for, and then figure out what the discount might be.
And that's good information. I mean, to me, still, it's our legal requirement to have 2. So this is spending money, above and beyond, but we don't even know exactly what the cost will be.
Right.
But spending it when we don't need to, when it can be used for other things. So that's a fiscal responsibility question that we have.
So I think everybody has their point of view and their perspective, so we could vote based on your point of view.
I will say that my vote will be impacted by knowing that there will be a deadline for information. So if we could generally have a general idea how much it would cost to add them by the first meeting in August, that would.
I think that's what Emery said.
Okay, so I just want to confirm that, that's all, because then I would vote a certain way tonight, but I would like to make sure we cross this off our list for the 3rd year, so.
So we're definitively saying that if we get the numbers and we like the amount, we feel like it's reasonable, then we're gonna vote on this again.
We can always ask to
Add a paper.
add a paper.
Yeah.
Or we can always ask, as Anthony was saying, to remove a paper, as long as we have two. So you can't remove to one, but like if the board voted to not approve the amended motion to add the Highland Current, because they wanna wait until Anne Marie gets the numbers, then we could
But
put
we're
that back
essentially
up.
saying we're gonna come back to this.
As the board, that's what I'm hearing.
I mean, I feel this is the third year we've been discussing this one. I feel that we should put it on, and we should be given reason to take it off. It's a different approach than we've done in the past that hasn't given us any answers.
That, and you can vote that way.
Can I
That's the great part about it.
Since maybe this already came out in the email, what is our budget for the Poughkeepsie Journal and the Free Press? Like, how much money are we talking?
I don't have any idea off the top of my head. I
It
would
was
have
not
to.
in the email.
Okay, so we just don't know how much any
No,
of
the
these
email
cost.
basically just explained, basically what was talked about, what the rate was, what they had quoted me on the rate last year, and where the circulation was.
I guess I'm just trying to get a sense, because to vote on, if we're talking ballpark less than $1,000, that's one scale. If we're talking $20,000, obviously it's not. But like, I don't know. I don't work in media, so I don't know how much the Poughkeepsie Journal or the Free Press or the Island Current costs. Do we know any of these?
Well, I know what the Highland Current costs.
Is it-
And legal notices, the discount is 20% off of the open rate. So whatever the page rate is, you take off 20% for a legal notice. I don't know if they give an additional discount for a school district, but
I guess maybe it'd be better to think about like budget last year. Like, how much did we
Right.
spend on this last year?
I can do a spreadsheet of what we actually spent last year and compare it.
I think that
That's
would
what
be
We
I
did a
have.
capital
I think
project
that'd
last
be
year, so
helpful.
that would be an apt comparison of what a busy year would look like,
Right,
right?
right.
So
That's
I think
correct.
that would be really good data to work with. I think that I understand where Anthony is coming from completely, because this discussion does feel very much like Groundhog Day. So why I don't necessarily, we'll vote on what we think, but it would increase my comfort level if we have some real data to work with by the first meeting in August.
are we able to vote, like get the information and then vote at our next meeting?
We have to vote on it now, because
Mhm.
it's a reorg and we have to have at least two.
Oh, I see.
So what I'm saying, and Anthony was saying, yes, you could vote, the amendment was to add the Highland Current. So if you vote for the amendment, then when we originally vote, say if the amendment passes, you're gonna be voting for 3 official district newspapers.
Without knowing the full cost.
Without knowing,
Right.
which is what Anthony was saying, is that you could add it and then we could remove it if we find the cost.
I see.
So that's what Anthony was saying.
Okay.
Some people were saying that if you vote no for the amendment, then it's going to go back to just originally voting for the two
Right, then we'll vote
papers.
again for
And
the-
then we'll vote again,
Then we'll
but
get
like
the,
in a year.
the cost. No,
No, we can bring it up once we have the.
we can
cost.
add it at any point in the year.
So
Oh,
hopefully by
okay.
the.
But I just don't wanna misconstrue what Anthony was saying.
I
Anthony was saying
understand.
that we can add it, and then if we find that the cost is too high,
Then
we could then vote to move it.
And part of his motivation for that is that it is something that we voted at this very meeting last year with the thought that we would return to this, and a year later we were having the
And then-
exact same discussion.
Then what Mike was
Groundhog
saying,
Day.
Yeah, it is Groundhog Day.
if you don't vote for the amendment, then we're gonna vote to have 2, and we can then get the information and then vote to add it or not add it. So that's where the amendment is playing a part, as to
Okay.
how you vote for the amendment, as to what the next step will be. Are you voting to add it, or are you voting not to add it after you get the cost?
Yeah, I mean,
I just want people to be clear as to
Yeah.
what they're voting for.
Yeah, and just to explain my thought process is that, what we did last time, didn't end up as a decision. So I'm gonna try a different way. And if,
Yeah. So I need a motion to,
the motion.
No, they-
no,
need
we
to
have the
vote.
motion. I need a vote to add the amendment, which is adding the Highland Current to the official district newspaper.
What do you mean, add the amendment? We're
No,
adding
add the Highland Current
Yeah.
to the official district newspaper. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Aye.
Let's do a roll call vote.
Ms. Vetterberg?
Aye.
Mr. Case-Lael?
Aye.
Ms. Flynn?
Nay.
Ms. Hewer?
Nay.
Mr. Rakowski?
No.
Ms. Stadler?
Aye.
Mr. Singh?
Aye.
Mr. Wolf?
Aye.
Mr. White?
Nay. So it is added, the amendment passed 5-4. So now we're voting on 7.05, which is to approve with the amendment the Highland Current as an official district newspaper.
There's discussion?
We're still on, so Anthony made the motion, you second it, so now we can discuss.
So I just think that having an additional paper, having 3 instead of 2, without knowing the financial impact on the district, is really not, wouldn't be achieving my, fiscal responsibility that we have to the district. Once we know what the information is, then we can make a better decision about what the real impact is, because there's definitely a communications bonus. I don't know what the cost is.
So the board voted as a whole and it passed 5-4. So.
Oh, no, I understand that as part of it, so I'm just giving my discussion on the
So
next vote, which is for all 3.
So now, because we made 2 amendments and now we're on that, the one amendment did not pass.
Mhm.
The one amendment did pass. Now we're voting on 7.05 as a whole,
Right.
which is and it was amended to include the Highland Current.
That's right.
So I need a motion. I don't need a motion. We need a vote for 7.05. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
That's 8-1. I only heard 1 no. Okay.
So, but I would still, I'm sorry, I still
Yeah,
would
so-
like that information so that we can revisit this.
So Kelly, 7.05 added the Highland Current.
I have a question. Emery, when you get information from Highland County, can you also provide the Free Press and the Poughkeepsie Journal to do the side-by-side comparison?
I already have the Beacon Free Press and I already have Poughkeepsie Journal. I will have to reach out to the Highland Current.
Yeah, so when you provide the information on Highland County, can you also provide
I
the...
guess like a table. That's what it
Yeah.
needs to be, so we can.
Thank you, Emery.
All right, I need a motion to approve 7.15, which is approved amendments with Hotline Creations.
Yeah, motion to approve 7.15, agreement with Hotline Creations.
Second.
Comments or questions?
My question here is that when you read through the contract, it really doesn't define what the services are. It says, services in this agreement are listed below, but they're not listed.
Right, and I mentioned that in the email back to you, and I know that last year, when the question came up, Matt had said that for his first year, he wanted to have a little bit of flexibility, because we did use him for something different. We had the board goals printed by Hotline Creations. Meredith had asked if we provide cost information, which I'd be more than happy to do as well. That contract, that consultant agreement is more of a boilerplate that we use, like a template that we use across the district, so we don't really spell out. Some of them are for professional services. That one we didn't spell out, so we could wait until you have the information, or
It'd be helpful to see their input. I mean, because I think I've asked a couple of times, like, just to know exactly what, like, not sort of vaguely, like, they do the budget postcard, I know that, and I know that they do they did the board goals last year. It's just that I remember kind of talking about it and just wanting to see what services they had provided, and then I remember an invoice came in for the full amount of their contract at one of the meetings without any supporting detail, and we ended up kind of having to approve it without any details. And they've been working with us for a while, so it would just be really helpful to see, are they always maxing out the contract? And if so, what are they providing for that? Like what, like just kind of, not in the sense of micromanaging, but because it's so vague. Always so vague, and the only thing we ever hear about is the budget postcard. And is the budget postcard costing the full amount of their service fee every year? Like, it's just, that's the one thing that it's just been a missing piece for a while. It would be helpful to have.
okay. I can provide a description of their services and the amount, if that would help.
I think Matt, you said he was trying to utilize them a little bit differently this past year, and I know that he did with the postcards of the board goals on it. else, I can't remember off the top of my
It was
head
some
what
other
we did.
PR.
Right, but
That's
even
right.
anything, the contract says, perform the services described below, and it says, doesn't say anything about what it is. There's more in the agenda where it says, consulting services and public relations. That's more than what's in the contract. So I'm just like, what, there's gotta be something for the
I think
contract.
public relations might be the very, very top.
No, it's-
It's on the
My-
first
my-
line.
No,
My impression of what this contract is that it's a kind of what they call level of effort contract. In other words, if we don't use them, we don't owe them anything, correct?
That's correct.
Right,
So-
but we've,
so we're
we've
just-
always paid their full
but-
invoice.
Huh?
We've paid the full, so we commit to a certain amount, but we've never seen, well, we've always just, what I've seen is we've always
I don't
just
disagree with you.
approve right at the end. Like, right at the end of the fiscal year, we pay them the full amount, but I've never seen the supporting detail for it, and it is something that I know I've asked for, just to see, like, I wanna, like, what's the breakdown of a, you know, of a budget postcard, what's the, like, I don't really dig in deep on this stuff. It's just been confusing to me for a couple of years now, like, just that, I just wanna see that.
So at a rate of $85 an hour for not to exceed $15,000, Hotline Creations would have to put in about 176.5 hours. So I guess the question is, are we getting 176.5 hours worth of work from them?
The only thing, so we put a purchase order on for the full amount, but we only pay for what he bills us for.
Mhm.
So again, I don't know it off the top of my head, I'd have to research it and give you the
Is
information.
there some reason why this is done on a basis of a stated hourly rate? Is
That's
there any
how-
compelling reason for that?
I don't know the reason.
Part of it is I think the district doesn't know what they're gonna be promoting through the future school year.
Maybe we
They
should
know some
restructure this
things.
contract in the future to indicate certain designated pieces of work for a stated price, and then an hourly rate for add-ons upon request.
I mean, this sounds like a retainer without a deposit to me. Just basically retains them, and if we use them, we use them, we don't use them, we don't use them.
Part of me is I trust the way that Matt is going to utilize them for the district business to promote, well, you know, things that are going on. So, I mean, if it's a per hour rate, not to exceed 15, we're basically saying, are we okay with Matt determining using Hotline Creations up to $15,000 to promote PR?
He doesn't have to use Hotline
He
Creations.
doesn't have to.
It's just a retainer without a deposit.
Oh, we don't pay them. It's just an agreement. We don't pay
We
them
don't pay them.
$15,000.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's
Right.
basically, you know, setting up the contract vehicle so that if we do want to use them, then we would use them and he'd be able to charge us for it.
Right.
But it doesn't cost the school district anything if we don't use them. I mean, I guess the question goes into whether we want to use them, but again, that's either, is that a decision for us or a decision for the district?
I would say it's the district administration if they want to use them, but we just have to, if they want to use them, they need a contract to
Yeah.
access them.
I mean, the only thing I can say is in the past we've complained about some of the spellings here and there. Hopefully that's been resolved.
No, specifically in the past, what I've complained about is that I'll just give the example that I gave at the time, and it really is nothing against this contract, it's just been confusing to me about how it's operated in the past, and maybe it's changed, but there's been like, I don't know if we get billed, because sometimes the vendor comes as a parent with the camera, and sometimes they're coming as the representative PR person taking pictures. And like for the wellness event that we had, I don't know if we paid for the whole event for those services. And I know as the committee, we asked for the pictures and never received them. And then I was like, well, did we pay for them, or were they there as a parent? And that loop never closed. And so it's just, I have nothing against this company at all. And it's not like I'm saying I don't trust the district administration. It's just been a curiosity of mine. And I know the last one, there was a meeting where we never saw the supporting detail, and then we we had a purchase order, and then we cleared the full amount of the purchase order without any specifics. That was it. I will vote in favor of keeping them on contract. I just want to understand a little bit more about how this works. Only because of that one interaction, and I didn't really understand how it got executed. It could be on the administration side that they send us stuff and we don't know how to use it, or we didn't have a full public relations plan and all that's changing. That's fine. It's just in terms of oversight, it's just been something that's gone unanswered.
Hmm?
I mean, that's unacceptable. I mean, if we pay for something, we should be able to receive it. I mean, that's a complaint that should be followed up on.
I don't know if we paid for it. I'd have to look.
Okay.
Or we'd have to look into to know if someone in the district did receive them
Okay.
or not.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be great. If they're just
Yeah.
going into some like Dropbox and we're not utilizing them, then that would be
Yeah.
a shame.
Right, because you could go on the website or.
Right, exactly.
All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried 9-0. I think with the follow-up as to having Matt tell us a little bit more of how they're being utilized.
I like that. Am
I need a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I like that.
He said he'd like
Oh,
to have an idea.
yeah, thank you. See, I forgot. I trusted Anthony. Go ahead.
I'd like to add the item. I'd like to make a motion to add an item to discuss the start times for the Board of Ed meetings.
Okay, so let's add a section to the agenda of new business. So let's make, your motion is to add new business to the agenda, which would be 8.01.
Okay, until we waive the business, but okay.
Is there a second to add new business to the agenda?
Second.
The times are on 2.05 on the real. The second, the one that we were discussing about the Highland Current.
The designation?
Oh, we already.
6 o'clock is there.
Say that again?
On
We've already approved
7.05.
6 o'clock.
I'm just saying it might be easier that way than adding things to the agenda because it was already there.
When you pulled
So it says second and fourth.
approved
6
organizational
o'clock.
agenda. Organizational,
Yeah.
I don't know.
regular meeting, item number 3.
Look at that. Instead of opening up, because we had a lengthy discussion about 7.05, and I don't want to muddy the water, per se, let's add new business to the agenda. And so, all those in favor of adding new business to the agenda?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried 9-0. So the new business is going to be to discuss the start time of this.
Yes, discuss the start time of the board meetings.
So Anthony's making a motion to discuss the start time of the board meeting. Is there a second?
Second. No, put Alyssa on the board. I just
Evie, first time I had to write it. All right. All right, go ahead, Ant.
So,
Discuss.
whose idea was it to make it 6 o'clock?
I don't know, it was
It was in the schedule that we approved
back.
June 18th.
June 18th.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Board
was,
calendar.
It was on the.
Yeah.
Well, you're telling me something I don't think I caught.
The only reason I know is
I didn't-
because it was something when I met with the new board members, it was pointed out.
Yeah,
And
I
then I
didn't
meant
catch
to
it.
bring it up and almost forgot about it like I did tonight to discuss it, and no one pulled it. So it was like, oh,
Yeah, I was in,
People are fine
I was in
with this.
Denver, sorry.
Yeah. You would have caught it, Anthony.
so,
Yeah, so it was 6 o'clock is a hardship for me.
Fine, me too.
I don't want 6 o'clock.
No explanation needed. I don't like it.
6:30?
7.
7:30?
7?
I like dinner.
Not 7:30.
I was thinking if we started at 6:30, we could go to executive session and then have the meeting start at 7 o'clock for the public.
Yeah, but then the board meetings are missing executive session, which is the purpose of executive session.
Correct.
So that doesn't work.
I mean, you're usually here early.
Well,
Only if my train gets here on a certain time.
it's definitely a hardship for me. I mean, I'm barely.
Listen, I'm fine, I'll make it
No, I'm
work
just
any time
explaining.
it is, so. It was
Okay,
just something.
I
that-
thought I signed up for 7.
It's a big deal to change the time of board meetings, so.
make a motion that we change the board meetings back to 7 PM.
So, second.
I think for the general public, it's the same issue of most people like to have dinner.
Hold up, let me finish.
Dinner's
so we
good
don't-
for you.
Craig, just so the minutes don't get combined, hold on. Who was the second for that? Meredith?
Oh,
Yeah.
All right, so the motion was to change the start time of the board meetings from 6 to 7 PM. Anthony was the first, Meredith was the second. Comments or questions pertaining to starting at 7 o'clock? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 9-0. I need a motion to adjourn the meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Comments or questions?
Just my comment is at 7:30. So if we could start at 7,
Hey, that's
it
the
would be
old
8:30.
motion.
So this is very nice. But I recognize that it's a hardship, so.
Good to see you.
That's not germane to the motion to adjourn. I don't think there's even any debate on the motion to adjourn.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried 9-0.
I said Jeff was